If you want it chopped off, just take it to the woods. Hello, huge movie fanatic Nate, reporting alone in the woods, coming at you to review the movie and the Blu-ray of Don't Go in the Woods Alone. This movie I think is absolutely fantastic. I think I discovered it at the tender old age of 14. At that time, the only video incarnation of this movie was this one right here, the original Vestron Video VHS that was released in 1983 by Vestron Video, of course. And as you can see, the movie on VHS, they kind of took out the word alone, which I kind of prefer the title Don't Go in the Woods, minus the alone. But I guess the real title is kind of Don't Go in the Woods Alone. But this is the original Vestron Video VHS, back when they just used to have like one picture. So this is, I rented a VHS much like this, or exactly like this, from a video store in 1991, and I saw this, what I would regard just classic cult schlock piece of, admittedly it's bad, but bad in like the best way possible. And then in 2006, I was absolutely, completely, totally delighted when Code Red would put this out. Looks like it could potentially be their first release. It's got a 001 on the spine. Code Red would actually do a new transfer for the very first time since its original video release of Don't Go in the Woods, which was, and put out this DVD. And for me at the time, this was an absolute, it's called the 25th anniversary. This was absolute, just, a godsend. This was absolutely something that I was just so thrilled about at the time, and absolutely, cherished and stuff like that. And this release included, a new transfer, poster at Stills Gallery, 15-minute talk show appearance, a 1-hour featurette, which is basically made by James Bryan, or however the hell you say his name, the director of this movie. And looks like it's shot on like high 8, which is fine, whatever. And it's got audio commentary. So, this was the best release we had from 2006 up until 2015, when the fantastic Vinegar Syndrome released yet again another transfer, a new transfer at the time, newly restored in 2K from the 35mm inner positive, and loaded with actually more extras, which we'll get into after I review the movie. So once again, I discovered this movie at the tender age of 14 on Vestron Video VHS, and like I've said so many times in reviews past, this movie was absolutely right up my alley. I love these kind of early 80s, just walking in the woods, just low budget, ultra low budget kind of movies, walk into the woods and die kind of movies. This movie I always thought was like foreign because it's probably shot MOS. Like all the dialogue, from what I can tell in the movie, is completely replaced. So I don't know if they probably didn't even bother with recording sound, which is something that makes a lot of sense when you're shooting outdoors and in the woods and stuff like that, is not even bother with it, because a lot of stuff probably have to replace anyway. But from what I can tell, all the dialogue was replaced in this movie, which when you're young and 14 years old, you think that kind of makes you think it's like a foreign movie or something. But this isn't a foreign movie. It's made by an American, and shit, what is it, Colorado? I can't remember exactly, or is it Utah? Is that Colorado? Whatever. It's made somewhere where there's a lot of woods. And what's really cool about this, you find out in either the commentary or the making of, is that the director was able to get some really, really inexpensive 35mm film stock, because it was actually like expired. So he was able to get 35mm. This movie is so low budget, it really doesn't, you wouldn't think it'd actually be able to be shot on 35mm. But because James, or the director, was actually able to come across this, expired, film stock, which was, no longer, technically good, and he shot the movie with this, which, the film stock, which you can tell isn't, perfect, but it gets the job done. Obviously for a movie like this, any kinds of, you don't want a movie like this to look perfect. So, as I've already reviewed so many movies like this just recently, of the same kind of premise, this movie just revolves around, basically, it's two couples. I don't know if these are like couples or just friends or whatever. Oh gosh, it's the same thing as Just Before Dawn, where it's like two couples, or wait. Oh no, it is two couples, okay. You got this one, yeah, I don't know if these are like romantic couples or just kind of friends or what the hell they are, but you got these two groups, two couples that basically go, I mean, this movie's so great, there's really no plot to it, so I can't really say it's got a plot. It's just a random movie about people, you know, you follow these people going into the woods, and then you know, then they'll cut to some other random person who appears and dies, and then they'll cut back to these characters, you know, continuing to walk around the woods, and then they'll cut to some random person who dies. One thing I do want to say about this movie is like the two kind of female characters. I know a lot of people have given them kind of flack or whatever. I mean, I'm not too keen on Mary Gale Arts in this movie. I don't think she's particularly attractive, but the other girl, I mean, she's kind of got, you know, I thought she was ugly when I was 14, but having gotten older and stuff, she's actually kind of got a nice body, and like if she had like longer hair in this movie, she kind of would have been a little more attractive. But even as she is in the movie, she's got a relatively nice body. What I find extremely kind of ridiculous about this movie is this really attractive girl at the beginning of the movie who's like running, and one of her socks is higher and one of them is less high. And it's like, she's like, I don't know if she's Asian or what, but whatever she is, she's like pretty attractive, and she like, just in the movie, like 40 seconds just running through like a little stream and falls down and dies, and it's just like, gosh, it would have been nice if she could have been in the movie longer. And there's also, I think, another girl who dies with this black guy in this frickin' sleeping bag later on, who's in the movie for like 15 seconds. I love this movie because, you know, there'll be these characters that'll literally just introduce probably the two people sleeping in the, you know, in the sleeping bag at night is probably the best example of introduce someone literally 10 seconds later, just kill them. Before you even know what's going on, they're dying. Before you even see them, I mean, you never even see them and they're dead. This movie is probably one of the best examples of just schlock, you know, WTF, what the fuck kind of cinema you ever are going to come across. It's absolutely ridiculously highly recommended in my opinion, being a fan of this kind of schlock stuff. And obviously if you're watching this review, there's a good chance you've seen it already. If you haven't, oh my gosh, save up the money. You gotta get this, which is absolutely great. It's a DVD, Blu-ray and DVD combo. This is the best way to experience this movie currently until the, you know, the 4, 6, 8K version of it comes out, which I'm sure will happen. It's kind of like some sarcasm, but yeah, I mean, like I say, this movie's really got no plot, so I can't really comment on the plot. It just follows these two couples into the woods. We see them do whatever, cut to someone else, they die, back to the couples, do whatever, someone else, they die, until finally they run out of other people to cut away from and die, and they start killing the main characters. And kind of very much with like the movie I just reviewed, The Forest, one of the couples, you know, kind of, I think, dies, and then one of the couples, the boy, you know, the guy and the girl of one of the other couples is kind of lives. So I don't know which one, I think The Forest, I don't know which one was done first. These movies were made at relatively the same kind of, you know, right around the same time. So it's interesting that they kind of both follow the same premise in that regard, where you got two couples who go out in the woods and only one couple survives. But the antagonist killer in this movie is just this, you know, there's no explanation, just this kind of crazy biker dude in the woods with beads on his face. And, you know, but do you need an explanation? Like kind of they explain in The Forest, the movie The Forest, about how he got there and stuff. No, you absolutely don't need an explanation. He's just a crazy guy living in the woods. That's it. Absolutely phenomenal, just schlock movie. I mean, I could pretty much talk about this movie forever and ever. There's this part where this guy in a wheelchair is trying to hike in the woods, and he finally gets to the top of the hill only to be like decapitated, and his body and the wheelchair go down the hill. There's this fantastic kill with these two absolutely ridiculous characters. They're just married. Basically, they take this old decrepit VW, you know, hippie van or whatever you want to call it. It's obviously just no longer works, so they actually got it and just they could throw it down this hill and light it on fire. But, you know, they just kind of spray paint "just married" on it, and it's this absolutely, you know, I don't want to call anyone unattractive or whatever and hurt anyone's feelings, but this woman who, you know, this just married couple, this one guy that looks like the David Carradine or whatever, and I think that his voice is actually dubbed by the director in this movie, what we come to learn later. And this woman, this Cherry, is his new wife, is just like, oh my gosh, you know, could they get, you know, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, but the woman who played her is probably not watching this, but could they get anyone less attractive to play this guy's wife? It's just ridiculous to me. And holy crap. And it's just so funny because it's just more further compounded by his dialogue, which is, oh, you're the most beautiful thing that's come into my life. And you know, they exist enough to just say some corny ass dialogue only to, you know, basically die. And you know, the guy Dick, the husband, gets his face splattered all over the one of the side windows of the VW hippie van, and then she gets pushed down the hill in the, you know, presumably non-working piece of junk vehicle at the time, and set on fire. And what can I say? I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. You got this fat cop who they have this scene where they go up in an airplane looking for missing people just for a few minutes, and he's like, okay, we'll never find them up here, let's go back. And it's just like, oh my God. So this is in my opinion, one of the most random, just what the fuck kind of movies you're ever going to come across. And it has really, you know, I've been a fan of this ever since I was 14 in the early 90s, and this movie has really gotten itself quite a following, and you know, and very rightfully so, because I would regard it as being a gem. A lot of times these absolutely no budget horror movies are just, you know, they've got their own identity. I've said in reviews past, you know, they're so unique to their own selves and the people who made them, that unlike all of this kind of just assembly line movie manufactured crap that comes out in the theaters, these kind of low budget stuff from the early 80s and stuff, or 70s or 80s, in my opinion, is some of the most fun stuff that you can just watch and laugh at with friends, or watch and laugh at with yourself, or watch and laugh at with whatever. And it's just absolutely, you know, just amazing. So it's definitely not a 3-star movie, but I'm going to give Don't Go in the Woods alone 3 stars out of 4 stars. It's, you know, I'd say 3 stars of that is just, you know, the fact that it's absolutely schlock, brilliant geniusness. And let's face it, it's all like shot outdoors, and if you know me, I love the outdoors, so you can't go wrong with the movie shot out in the woods, in my opinion. Don't Go in the Woods alone, you'll love it. Blu-ray looks fantastic. I'm going to actually do a really cool thing here where I'm going to show you guys the progression of the image over the years. So I'm going to show you guys some screenshots of like the VHS, and then I'll show you guys the same screenshot, the same, you know, basically same screenshot in the DVD, and then I'll show you what the same screenshot looks like on the Blu-ray. You'll see obviously over the years, as they continue to do more sophisticated transfers of this particular movie, that the image is just getting better and better and better. And of course, I can't really see this movie ever looking any better than it does on this Blu-ray. It's absolutely fantastic. As always, I'll put a shot of the back of the box so you can pause and read all the special features if you so choose. I'm not 100% sure this movie's got all of the special features from the Code Red DVD ported over. I would imagine they are, because that's what they did with Luther the Geek later on, like a year later. I would imagine all the special features on the DVD are probably on here and more. This has got a commentary, you know, by the Hysteria Continues. I've said in several reviews, whenever that commentary track is available, I don't know what the hell it is. Probably just a group of fans that just comment on, you know, movies they love or whatever. You got commentary with the director, then you got commentary, it looks like a director alone, and then director with some cast. There's something that's new to this particular release as far as I know, which is this autograph signing party featurette, 30 minutes. It's basically just a video taken at this, you know, I watched some of it when I got this DVD, or when I got this Blu-ray, and it's basically just, you know, kind of, you can't even hear it. It's this video recorded at this really loud place. You can't even hear people talk. So in my opinion, that's really not worth much, but I don't know if I watched the whole thing. I probably skipped through it to see if there's anything you could hear, but from what I remember, you couldn't really hear anything at this autograph signing party featurette. It says it's got a TV promotion compilation, which is 15 minutes. I don't even know I didn't look at that. You know, theatrical trailer, of course, and the production still gallery, press and art gallery, script gallery, but the theatrical trailer has got one of the best kind of trailer lines I've ever heard in a movie. I mean, any movie, B, C, A, any kind of a movie, which is the thing, you know, the saying I started the review with, which is, you know, if you want it chopped off, just take it to the woods. As a matter of fact, I'm surprised that's not a tagline on the poster art, which would be absolutely fantastic. You know, incidentally, I absolutely love the artwork of the movie, and it's really interesting that over the years, the artwork never changed. You know, like normally on a you know, one of these, what is this? Vinegar Syndrome releases, you'll have a reversible cover art option. Well, there's no reversible cover art for this movie because it's been the same classic artwork all along. And from what I can tell, this yellow thing is how the original poster was. That's why it's yellow. Like in the tape and the DVD, it was the black background, which I actually kind of prefer. But you know, if this is the poster, I'd actually rather have what the poster originally was, even if I like the black more, because I really like when companies put out the original poster art on the artwork, because it's what originally represented the movie. So from what I know of the, you know, theatrical poster of this movie, this is, you know, it with the yellow kind of background. And of course, well, you've already seen this, but that's the back in a lesser resolution version. But I don't know if I already mentioned it or not, but in case you don't happen to have a Blu-ray player yet, this release is absolutely fantastic because, you know, it features a Blu-ray and a DVD. I would imagine both discs have the same special features. And, you know, for people like me who like to you know, have a DVD for a portable DVD player so they can watch this movie when they go out into the woods, this is a perfect obviously option, or perfect kind of a collection to have where you have a DVD included. And that way, who knows, maybe if you know, got a friend who likes the movie, you can have the Blu-ray for yourself and give the DVD away to a friend or something, or sell it or whatever. But I can't recommend this Blu-ray enough. It's absolutely gorgeous, and it's new 2K, what'd they say? 2K restoration from the 35mm inner positive. Absolutely gorgeous. In a, now it's like in a, oh okay, 185. But can't really recommend the movie enough for the schlock factor. I've been meaning to review this movie for years. I've just been too lazy to get myself out into the woods, and to be honest, I've been really scared to go into the woods after watching this movie. And that's kind of a joke. I'm not really afraid of going into the woods, but I've been meaning to review this movie for years. This has been on Blu-ray now for 2 years. I've been meaning to review it for the last couple of years, but finally got myself out here to do it today, and I'm very excited to be able to do it today and bring you this comprehensive review of this absolutely amazing movie, which, you know, I could go on and on and on and talk about, but I think you guys probably have other things to do today. Maybe you got to go to the bathroom, maybe you got to eat, so then later on you can go to the bathroom, whatever. But I think I'll leave the review at this for now. Absolutely fantastic movie for schlock, you know, value, and absolutely fantastic Blu-ray release of the particular movie. So thank you very much for watching my movie / Blu-ray review of Don't Go in the Woods Alone. I mean, I kind of like the title Don't Go in the Woods more, but whatever, it's Don't Go in the Woods Alone. Oh, it should be noted that this movie's end credit scene has this fantastically horrid song, you know, don't go out in the woods tonight, you probably will be killed. Don't go out in the woods tonight. Whatever, he's a friendly, I don't know what it is. Friendly beast who lurks about, who likes to feast. You won't get out without being killed and chopped up into little pieces. Don't go out in the woods tonight. So the end credits feature that absolutely kind of atrocious music or song, actually sung by the guy who did the music. Oh, before I end the review, the music in this movie is absolutely fantastic. Just pound on the keyboard nonsense schlock, which goes perfectly well with the ridiculousness of the movie. As a matter of fact, there's some kind of bits where it's like and you know what I'm talking about if you've seen the movie, which is really kind of scary, kind of you know, musical stuff when shit's going bad and there's a chase scene or whatever. Really kind of scary stuff. So some of the music is mostly just nonsense, and some of it's kind of effective for the kills and stuff. So like I say, as you can tell, I just can't really stop talking about this movie, but I must, so, because I gotta get out of the woods so I don't, you know, become this guy's food or whatever. So thank you very much for watching, and as always, we'll catch you next time. I'm gonna go in the woods alone. I almost forgot my camera. What would going out in the woods be without taking your trusty camera? This is a camera very much like the one shown in the movie, just laying in the stream. It occurred to me we had this in the frickin' in a cupboard, and I'm like, holy crap, it's not the exact same thing, but it's very similar. It's a Kodak Instamatic, and I'm like, wow. So I thought I'd share this on the review as well. The Kodak Instamatic camera, very much like the one shown in the stream in the movie Don't Go in the Woods Alone. So don't go into the woods alone without your Kodak Instamatic. So, oh! That'll be a good shot. Take it easy.